Every female who has an ex under the sign has attempted to solve the issue of how to make a Scorpio guy miss you. These guys are notorious for being incredibly observant, thus he'll most likely see through all of your manipulating tactics. In addition, you are fully aware of his uniqueness. It isn't like you can apply the fundamentals of masculine psychology to him. So, what is left to be done? So, if you're wondering how to make a Scorpio guy miss you, be ready for a wild journey. This is a step-by-step tutorial on doing things in the simplest yet most effective method available. 1. Give you both some time and space. When you split up with a guy or see that he is losing interest, your initial instinct is to pursue him. It's very normal, you're not going to beg him to come back or modify his attitude. You just want to see what's happening. You want to get closure before moving on. You want to know what went wrong and are demanding an answer. So, the first step is to phone and text this person. If he doesn't respond and refuses to visit you, don't see it as a hint. Instead, it aggravates you much more. You can't believe he's such a coward, rushing away without answering any questions. You can't put this much strain on a Scorpio man. That is if you want to get the intended outcome. This guy's head needs to calm off. It doesn't matter if you two broke up. If you're taking a break or if he just altered his behavior, the simple fact is that your relationship is in this state for a reason. You may not realize it now, but you two certainly have some unsolved issues. And, as much as you might wish, such issues cannot be resolved overnight. Instead, you should consider if this connection is worth fighting for. Is this our ultimate farewell, or is there still hope for a future together? As a result, the first step in figuring out how to make a Scorpio guy miss you is almost nothing. That's right, no chasing, no phone calls, and no duplicate texting. Just give him some space and time to reflect on all that happened. He needs to make a decision. And your breathing down his neck will not help. Instead, he'll feel pressurized, which is never nice. 2. Boundaries in Scorpio men. Keep in mind that, in principle, all men born under this sign are quite protective of their private. Therefore, the first thing this guy expects from you is time and space. Nonetheless, when people become overly emotional, they quickly forget about these limitations. However, this is not the moment to test a Scorpio man's patience. 3. Why do you want to make a Scorpio man miss you? But let's not act as if this individual is the lone piece of the puzzle. Yes, I get that you want him to follow you, but you are also a participant in this relationship. As a result, you must also allow yourself time and space away from him. Use this time to sort out your priorities and figure out what you truly desire. Most importantly, you must ask yourself why it is vital to make a Scorpio guy miss you. Why would you want this person back? It's one thing to do everything for your ego, but it's entirely different if you actually love him. In the first situation, cancel your plans immediately away. You're probably just trying to get back at him for not treating you properly, but believe me, this is not the way. Instead than continuing to focus on him, devote all of your efforts to mending yourself. On the other side, if you believe this is true love, all you have to do now is make him miss you. 4. Never be too available, otherwise, you'll lose your importance. Probably the finest thing about a Scorpio guy in love is that he never loves you half-heartedly. As a fixed sign, he is not the kind to switch from one relationship to another. According to astrologers, if he loves you, he will most likely continue to love you throughout his life. However, this does not exclude him from losing interest in you. You know, it is very conceivable that this man has strong affections for you, but you two have just lost the spark. He is no longer terrified of losing you, and you do not interest him. The butterflies have left, and he is certain that you will always be at his side, one way or another. Basically, I'm saying that this man has taken you for granted. He knows how much you adore him, and he regards you as his own. You can't ignore something you know you can always rely on, can you? If you want to make a Scorpio guy miss you, the secret is to shift his perspective. 5. Loyalty versus being taken for granted. On the other hand, both Scorpio women and men value loyalty. It suggests that this guy will never take you seriously unless he is absolutely certain that you will always be faithful to him, no matter what. So the dilemma is, how can you show your commitment without enabling him to take you for granted? The solution is straightforward: strike a balance between the two. Simply don't be too available. When you notice that he desperately needs your assistance, make it plain that he can rely on you and that you have his back. But don't let him use you, either. Don't allow him just call you when he needs you, and don't be available at all times. Don't be overly approachable, but don't abandon him while he's in difficulty either. Trust me, if a man perceives you as easily attainable, he will never appreciate you enough. 6. The attraction is intensified when mystery is involved. All Scorpios have an intrinsic curiosity, which is an important aspect of their personality. Some consider them excessively curious or even intrusive, yet there is little they can do about it. This type of conduct is in every Scorpio's blood, and you just have to cope with it. A private investigator or detective would undoubtedly be the ideal job for any Scorpio. They can go through everyone's garbage and get more information about you than anybody else. Even while this feature might be frustrating to many around them, when you're wondering how to make a Scorpio guy miss you, you'll turn the tables on them and begin to see it as your greatest benefit. It truly can be, if you play your cards well. You see, a Scorpio's curiosity drives them. Some are adept at concealing their snooping and probing abilities, but believe me when I say that everyone born under this astrological sign possesses them. So don't be concerned that this won't work if your partner has never shown you that he is curious. Believe me, he is, and you're about to exploit his personality against him. When you first meet a Scorpio guy, nothing is worse than telling him everything about yourself immediately away. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting you lie here. I'm only asking that you don't disclose him your darkest secrets so quickly. Not because your dark past will drive this man away, but because, let's be honest, there is nothing a Scorpio man can't tolerate. Instead, I'm just asking you to be a bit more discreet. Why? This is required since Scorpio is a detective. If you open up straight immediately, he won't have anything to examine further. As a result, he will eventually lose interest. Everything he wants to know is right in front of him, so he'll assume his work with you is complete. 7. How to make a Scorpio man miss you after a breakup. Nonetheless, when you're wondering how to make a Scorpio guy miss you after a breakup, you could think that this can't be indicated. After all, you've already spent a lot of time with this man. You weren't originally covert, so you believe it's too late to rectify that. Your Scorpio ex-boyfriend knows almost everything about you, so where's the mystery? Well, believe me when I say you're mistaken. Your task now is to make him ponder. Do you know how you spend days trying to figure out where he is? Where is he? Is he seeing someone new? Has he moved on? So, it's time to shift the circumstance and transfer places. Make him walk a mile in your shoes and allow him to think about you. You two are no longer together. That implies he has no idea if you are thinking about or missing him. Those inquiries are precisely what will keep you in his thoughts. Whether he likes it or not, he will continue to think about you, and he will realize how much he misses you. 8. Social media mutual friends. Social media and mutual friends are two areas where you must prioritize your efforts. Instead of sharing articles from each site you visit and informing your mutual acquaintances about your activities, try to stay silent. I understand that you want this person to think you're having a great time. So you'll publish images with various guys or videos of yourself having a good time. But believe me, his life in darkness will be far worse than these attempts to make him envious. Of course, this does not imply that you should ban him or remove your social media accounts. Just be strategic about what you post. Make your photographs mysterious. Instead of sharing about your purported new partner, upload a photo with a male arm in the backdrop. Is this just a coincidence, or are you seeing someone new? He'll never know, can he? Instead of sharing statements about how pleased you are, publish something that will get him thinking. Instead of being online all the time, take a day off and then return in style. The options are unlimited, but I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. You don't have to trust me, but you will eventually make this guy fascinated with you. The same applies to your shared closest friends and acquaintances. When they inquire about your romantic life, don't say anything. Simply smile curiously. Give hints and let them guess. So, when this Scorpio man starts asking around about you, he'll strike a wall and come up empty-handed. Keep in mind that we're talking about a man who can't help but explore. And that is exactly what will happen. He will embark on a journey to discover what has been happening with you. And if he can't find anything else, he'll be forced to contact you again. Otherwise, his curiosity will consume him alive. 9. Show him that you don't need anyone who doesn't need you. I'll tell you this, a typical lady cannot handle a Scorpio dude. Instead, you have to be pretty unique to drive this person crazy. Independence is one of the qualities you must possess if you want him to be yours permanently. He needs to understand that you can make it on your own and that your life is not empty without him. This is not to say that a person from this horoscope sign will not be there when you need him. It surely does not imply that you can't rely on him. Nevertheless, he just wants to perceive you as an equal partner. The last thing this man wants to do is settle for a female who follows him about aimlessly. He wants to know that you can live your life without someone else telling you what to do. He needs to know that you are independent and self-sufficient. As a result, the most appealing aspect for any Scorpio male is a woman who does not require him but chooses to include him in her life. He does not want you to become emotionally dependent on him. Instead, he believes that the most important evidence of your love is your willing desire to have him by your side. 10. Scorpios are not intimidated by strong women. For as long as you can remember, you've heard stories of guys who are terrified of powerful women. You know the drill. When a guy realizes you're more successful than him, he feels threatened. When he discovers that you are emotionally or mentally stronger than he has ever been, he begins to feel weak. This applies to a large number of males. Forget about equality, many men are governed by their toxic masculinity, which prevents them from dating powerful women. What do they do when they discover they're dealing with a difficult girl? Do they strive to be on par with her? No, they flee for their life. However, the good news is that Scorpios are not like this. Instead, every Scorpio guy desires a strong and powerful lady at his side. He is a powerful man who sees her as a motivator to do better. Unlike the other males around him, he sees her as an ego booster. As a result, playing the victim in order to get this person back will get you nowhere. Crying and asking him to return simply because you need someone to mend a flat tire or repair your sink will only drive him away. The idea is to show him that you can do it without him. After all, he isn't completely irreplaceable. You don't need him to care for you or assist you in any other manner. To be specific, you don't need a male for this. You're perfectly capable of getting through life on your own. How badass is that?